Please join me in welcoming Walid Khan.
Testing. Okay, so this is working. So fellow graduates, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be up here, and faculty, thank you for letting me pick me as the valedictorian to be up here. And before I start, I have one concern. I'm already kind of blinded by the light. So, anyone who wants to take photography, pictures with flashes, I'll ask that you guys don't do it because I do risk blinding myself, falling off the stage, and then triage happens and I go to a hospital, but I do end up off the stage. So please, no flash photography, but I will make a deal. I will give you a few poses. You guys can take pictures now, and then pretend that it happened during the speech, okay? So I'll start off with this one when I'm nervous. And now when I'm saying something important, I call this the Obama. Now this is me saying something very important. And this is me making a funny. Okay, so everybody has their pictures, no more flash photography. No, I'm just joking. Please take lots of pictures, I need Facebook friends. So let's begin. I want to start off by thanking the faculty again and my classmates for allowing me to be up here and make this valedictory arrest. See, that's the nurse coming out of here. Valedictory address. To my fellow graduates, this day has finally come. The 2 years of grueling, non-stop studying has finally come to an end. And you're here, still standing, well, sitting, you know what I mean. You're here. So congratulations, and that's all I have. Let's give them a hand. I actually just had 2 lines for you guys, but I gave you another one. I was being nice. It's because I wanted to turn your attention to the people who've been waiting much longer than 2 years for you to graduate. I'm talking about the people who supported you throughout your lives, through the good and the bad. This is the bad. I'm talking about those people sitting in the audience right now, and also those who are not able to make it today. I know my mom's sitting in the audience right now. She waited about 25 grueling years for me to be up here. And I bet there's some people out there who've waited longer or just as long. And I'm seeing a few nods, some giggles, so I think I'm right. Yeah, they're done. Kick them out of the nest. If they don't know how to fly, too bad. So I want to say that you are the people who truly deserve to be recognized today. Because without your support, your guidance, and your love, none of us would really make it this far. So I think all of us, the graduates, need to stand up right now and do what Claire Millette was talking about. Be loud, be proud of them, and give them applause. Don't be afraid to whistle, throw some yeahs in there, throw some woos in there. There we go. Okay, no more woos. No more woos. My friend's over here all the way from Boston, and you kind of got him excited. His name is Charlie. Woo! Hey, Charlie. Thanks for coming out. So last but not least, I would like to shift your attention to the School of Nursing, our educators, and the university at large. We are very fortunate to be able to study in a North American university where all this information and all these references are available at our fingertips to learn from. And we are privileged to have such a phenomenal group of instructors and role models who understand the importance of education. And they clearly, truly love to teach. So I want to thank you in guiding us and also addressing our needs as we went through the stages of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally accepted the fact that we deserved a B+ and not an A on that reflection paper. I would like my graduating class to please once again stand and applaud these people because they deserve it. So thank you for your hard work and dedication to us as students and to the profession of nursing at large. Thank you. So when I was preparing the speech, I realized that all of us, we've all had a different journey up until this day. And we all have a different perspective of what today means. So in all fairness, the best thing I could do is share my perspective of today with you. Which is that even though we are here celebrating, I can't help but think about the 7 billion other people who are not present at this moment with us. And they're around the world. These people living in countries that are going through economic collapse. I think about those people fighting and harming each other. People just like themselves, over an idea of whose God is real and most merciful. I think about the 200 Nigerian girls who were abducted and are still not found. And I worry about their families and their communities and how they've been destroyed. Conversely, I also worry about the Boko Haram, the abductors. Because how could a group of people get together and think that it is acceptable to harm others exactly like themselves? And to make matters worse, those people that they're harming are children. And I think about Canada, that even with such an advanced economic structure, we still have people living in poverty, without access to adequate healthcare, water, food, sanitation, and education. And even here in Toronto, we have 10,000 homeless youth going in and out of shelters every year, 200 of which will be homeless tonight. So why am I saying all of this, my fellow graduates? I'm saying all of this to remind you that our work is cut out for us. And I know, and everybody else in this auditorium knows, that you are ready, and that you are ready to make the change. So when I look at you, I see a group of motivated individuals who have developed their critical thinking skills and educated themselves to form a sound sense of ethics and morals, and are now ready to fight against these injustices. To clarify to everyone in the audience, these people you see here today are not just going to be registered nurses with clinical knowledge. We've been educated to empower the powerless, to protect the vulnerable, and to stand up against anyone who dares threaten another person's human rights, dignity, and respect. So I feel safe knowing that these well-trained advocates of justice will be out there creating change. And I know that when they're faced with barriers such as anger, cruelty, hatred, and ignorance, they will respond with sympathy, kindness, compassion, and educate. Because as Nelson Mandela has said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. So my fellow graduates, It's what I said to our professor, Mina Singh, at the end of our first semester. She's not here today, or I put her on the spot. She was asking all of us, are we going to come back for our masters? And I said, of course, most of us will. But first, we're going to go out there and we're going to change the world. So I know for a fact that we can change the weather. If you can recall the winter storm of 2013, right before our pharmacy midterm. Even the Weather Network didn't know what was happening. That week, we created 13 different versions of the snow dance, which worked. We got to skip the test. And it almost worked for the second midterm. So in its own weird way, that day brought us together like I've never seen a class come together before. And if we can use that intensity, that motivation, that drive, that cohesiveness for a non-supernatural goal, just imagine what we could do. So I really think that we can do it. I wholeheartedly believe that we are going to change the world. And it's through the education that you've received throughout your lives, and especially here at York University. And as part of our education, we've done our fair share of tests, exams, essays, reports, and those self-reflections. So how many of you are glad that you're not going to have to do one of those anymore, ever? Not a lot, not a lot. And that's good. Because the skill of self-reflection is the most important skill you will need to better yourself. It is a process which allows you to recognize your strengths and acknowledge your faults. Self-reflection allows you to accept and love yourself. The good and the bad. Once you've done that, you can truly begin to accept others and their faults, which will lead to providing non-judgmental and in a clinical setting, client-centered care. In other words, you become an instrument of love, where reciprocity, give and take, no longer exists. You just give. So the seed of compassionate care has been instilled and implanted in all of you, and it will continue to grow as you continue your practice as registered nurses, and as you continue to educate yourselves. Which will lead to each and every one of you, when you do interact, your conversations will be mindful. You will be empathic in each interaction, and your acts will only reflect what is in the best interest of the people that you serve. So not all of us are going to end up in the history books. Not all of us are going to have our pictures taken for the magazine covers and newspaper covers. But every single one of you is going to change lives every single day, which will lead and drive the course of our world to a better future. So in closing, I would like to congratulate my fellow graduates once again, but I want to remind you that this is actually a new beginning. And if you fell asleep during my speech, I have a quote, which I want to share with all of you. I heard this recently, and it kind of sums up my speech. Hopefully, you take something from this. And the quote is, "We have all won the lottery. Each and every single one of us. But it is how we choose to use our winnings which is going to define us." So I say, my fellow graduates, and everybody else in this room, use your winnings. Share them. Share your knowledge. Share your motivation. Share your compassion. share your love. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Waleed.